Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our Get Certified workshop. Next slide, please. My name is Maribel Feliciano. I'm the director with the Broward County Office of Economic and Small Business Development, and it is my pleasure to welcome all of you to our Get Certified workshop. A few things have changed on our certification process, and we are here to tell you everything you need to know to get certified with Broward County's local certification program as a county business enterprise or as a small business enterprise. And we want all of you to know that our office and our staff is here available to answer any questions you may have. At the end of our presentation, we're going to have an interactive Q&A session. We want you to start typing your questions on the Q&A portion of the presentation because we want to answer all your questions by the time we're done today. Next slide, please. The Broward County Board of County Commissioners have made a commitment to support our local small businesses. And today you're going to learn all the details about our small business certification program. As part of the County Commission goals of economic opportunity, the County Commission have decided they want to support our local small businesses that are here in Broward. So if you have been in Broward operating for at least 1 year, you have the opportunity to consider our local small business certification program. And not only that, we have made a commitment to spend at least 25% of everything we buy in Broward County. We want to make sure that we buy it from our local Broward County businesses. Next. Our county administrator, Monica Cepero, works closely with our county commission and all county agencies to ensure that the small business program is implemented and that we're successful to make sure that, again, our local small businesses are being utilized. So we have the support of our county commission, our county administrator. She wants to thank all of you for everything that you do to support Broward County's local economy and create jobs. And again, our office is here to help support your business. Next. And let's talk about OESBD, the Office of Economic and Small Business Development. We're a small business-focused office. We are here to work with our businesses because we want to make sure that you're successful because you create jobs, you're able to hire local residents, and you contribute to our local economy. And we do that in many ways. In addition to our certification program, we also help startups and entrepreneurs with connecting them to the resources they need to be successful, to scale, to develop their business plan, to have access to capital, etc. So we work with many organizations, many of our community partners, to make sure that we can connect you to those resources and additional information. In addition to that, our office works closely with our Film Commission. The Film Commission is part of OESBD, and the Film Commission is basically responsible for administering our film program, Film Lauderdale program, attracting film productions, commercials, and TV series to Broward County. But we don't stop there. In addition to that, we want to make sure our local small businesses are being utilized. We want to make sure that those film productions that are coming to Broward are also hiring crew from Broward County. And we provide economic development incentives to accomplish that. So today we're going to share a little bit of information about Film Lauderdale. But in addition to that, we will be able to connect you to our Film Commission and our film staff, which will be glad to meet with you to answer any additional questions that you may have. Next. And I want to start our presentation by sharing some of our numbers. I love data, I love numbers, so that's what we're going to share first as part of our webinar today. I want you to see the millions of dollars Broward County has spent, billions of dollars have spent supporting our local small businesses over time. Basically, Broward County government, over 60 county agencies were responsible for the administration of the airport, Port Everglades, our transportation department, our transportation system. We have our libraries, over 40 libraries, our parks system, over 300 buildings. We're also responsible for the maintenance and operations of our courthouse systems, and a lot more. And for that reason, again, remember I mentioned earlier, at least 25% of everything we buy, we want it to go to our local small businesses. And our office reviews everything Broward County buys before it goes out and on a bid, on our quote request, on RFP. We review everything before the solicitation process starts to be able to assign those small business participation goals. And here are just a few numbers. Right now, we're monitoring over 457 active contracts that have small business participation goals under the CBE program. And look at this, over $1 billion has been paid to these small businesses, DBEs and CBEs on these active projects. Again, over 457 active projects at this time that we're monitoring. For the smallest of the small businesses, today you're going to learn about getting certified for our SBE, the Small Business Enterprise, and our CBE, the County Business Enterprise. So for the SBEs, which is again the smallest of the small of our local businesses, since 2019, we have sheltered contracts. That means 100% of the contract goes to our SBEs, and we have paid out over $32 million. And these are smaller contracts that are $250,000 or less. Next. Let's keep looking over the data, right? So for my fiscal year 2025, $131.4 million were committed to our local certified small businesses. And that's out of approximately $355 million. So these are all the projects we reviewed during that 12-month period. And that means approximately 37% was committed to our local small businesses. So remember I mentioned at least 25%, we're exceeding that. We're right now averaging 37%. And then here you can see, I always get a lot of questions. What type of services? I'm a small business, but I'm not sure if the county buys that good material or service. So here you can see an overview of the contracts, the type of contracts for the different industries. So 46% goes to our construction services, and we're talking about CBEs and DBE contracts. So approximately half is construction services. 34% is to A&E and licensed professional services. Okay, so for those of you that do A&E or licensed professional services, that's another 34%. So those are the bigger components of the type of projects, contracts, or services that we assign to our small businesses, right? And then 15% is contract services, and then you can see the other smaller percentages for licensed professional services, etc. So just wanted you to have a general idea of, as we are reviewing solicitations and reserving solicitations or assigning goals for small business participation, here you can see basically at a glance for our previous year where those contracts went. Next. More numbers. Here we go. 50% projects were reserved for our SBEs. That's the smallest of the small. 50 projects were reserved. That was approximately $2.6 million. And remember, the SBE is for those solicitations that are $250,000 or less. Here you can see the trades for all the different certified businesses. So my directory of certified businesses, here you can see the numbers, right? Approximately 388 are contract services, and then you have the other numbers here for construction, etc. Last year, we certified 156 new companies as part of our certification program. We're always looking to increase these numbers, so that's why we're having this webinar today. And we have a lot of assistance for businesses that want to get certified. You can basically review the training sessions. We can meet with our staff one-on-one, and we will review your documents and help you navigate the certification process. So depending on how you prefer to do it, if you prefer to do it on your own, or you prefer to meet with us, we can meet with you virtually, we can meet with you in person, but we want to make it as easy for you as possible. And here you can see for last year, 38%, we're averaging 38% on our small business participation goals on all the projects we reviewed for last year. So you remember, it's at least 25% small business participation goal. We averaged 38% last year. Next. Thank you. And let's talk about our Mobility Advancement Program. This is our surtax, Penny for Transportation was the previous name. And this is basically a dedicated source of funding for transportation and infrastructure projects. It started, our Broward County residents voted in 2018. The program started after that. And there's a CBE participation goal for eligible projects. That means our county business enterprise certified small businesses can participate. And there is a goal of at least 30% on eligible Mobility Advancement Program projects. So we monitor contracts on a daily basis to make sure our local small businesses are being utilized, and we work with the cities. Some of the Mobility Advancement Program funding goes to county agencies to implement county projects, and then other funding goes to cities, the different municipalities. So Broward County OSBD is responsible for monitoring all those contracts, the city contracts and the county contracts, to ensure compliance with the program. And here you can see basically the numbers for FY25. We're talking about millions of dollars going to our certified small businesses as part of the Mobility Advancement Program. And then the millions of dollars since 2019, since the program started, creating thousands of jobs. And that's what our programs are all about, right? Making sure that you're successful as a small business, because if you're successful, you're hiring local residents and you're supporting and growing our local economy. Next. And this is right now our directory. We have approximately 961 CBEs, 783 SBEs, and under the federal program, you can see the numbers. We want to increase these numbers. So we want you to get certified as soon as you participate in this webinar. We want you to tell your friends and other businesses and colleagues to consider the certification, because the more certified businesses I have in my directory, the higher goals I can assign, or maybe I can basically reserve more contracts, right? So we want to make sure that our directory continues to grow with very diverse businesses on different industries. Really important for us. Next. And remember, I told you we wanted to share a few success stories because we want to get you really motivated to get the certification. So these are just a few of the projects that we have either completed recently or were in the process of completing. The Disney Cruise Terminal at the port. The goal for that project was 30%, and the prime exceeded the goal with 37, almost 38%, right? So we're always celebrating when our primes not only meet the goal, but exceed it. Sometimes we recommend a goal and the prime comes back and says, I'm not going to do 30%, I'm going to do 35. And of course, we really appreciate that and we love it, and definitely want to continue to work with our primes, with our certified small businesses and our county agencies to ensure that all these projects are successful. So this is, again, one success story, our Disney Cruise Terminal, and look at how many millions went to our local small businesses. We're talking about 10 million going to our local small businesses. Something I wanted to share, a lot of these projects are construction projects, but I want you to know that a lot of different industries are part of those construction projects. I have some large construction projects where janitorial companies are being used. All my professional services are being used. My marketing companies are part of those contracts as well. So there's many opportunities as part of these larger projects for many of my industries to participate. The second one you can see here is our supervised operations building. 30% goal, and the prime also exceeded the participation with 34, almost 35%. And look at this, $14 million going to all my local small businesses. And the last one is our Omni, our convention center expansion and Omni Hotel. We actually had the grand opening yesterday. And here you can see for a couple of the phases, 3 of the phases the goal was 25%. And they were accomplished 28.98, so they exceeded the goal. And then for the 2 phases, and they're still working on finalizing the last phase, the goal was 30%, and to date, they are at 33%. So these are, again, additional success stories on our projects that are utilizing small businesses, but not only using the small businesses based on what was required, but these primes have taken the initiative to exceed those goals. For the convention center, we're talking about over 70 CBEs were utilized, paid over 238 million. And actually these numbers continue to go up because they are, of course, under construction right now, finalizing the last phase. The latest my team told me they're at 241, 242 million as of today. So definitely wants you to know and see how we mean business. We really want to make sure that you're successful after you get certified with Broward County. Next. And today you're going to learn about, we always talk about programs, process, people. So today you're going to learn about programs and process. And then we have additional programming for you after you get certified. Next. And remember, I mentioned our county commission decided that at least 25% of everything we buy needs to go to our local small businesses. That is our Business Opportunity Act. And here you can see section 181.3A, at least 25% participation of our CBEs on county contracts that are, of course, eligible for that specific participation. Next. And here you can see the 2 certifications for my local program. So today you're going to learn how to get certified. My local program is race and gender neutral. My federal program is race and gender neutral as well, as of October 3rd. We're going to talk about that later. But these are the 2 programs, the Small Business Enterprise, or SBE, and we use a lot of acronyms in government, and the County Business Enterprise, or CBE. Next. Here you can see side by side of how the programs may be different in some of the components. So basically the SBE is a reserve program. So these are for solicitations that are between 100,000 and 250,000. I'm able to reserve the complete solicitation, the complete contract for my SBEs. And here the personal net worth, you can see it is 1.32 million. And then the average gross receipts for construction is 3 million, for contractual services, 1 million, and for professional consultants, 500,000. And here you can see is 15 full-time employees or less. So those are basically the eligibility requirements for my SBE program. And remember, the SBE is 100% of the contract must go to my SBEs. And it's okay if you have more than one SBE participate on the contract. Sometimes I have 2 SBEs that decide to bid on it and work together. Next is the CBE program. And remember, if we can go back a few slides, the CBE program is basically the one that I'm able to assign a goal of at least 25% or higher. So that could be 30, 40, 45, or 100%, depending on the contract, right? So you can see here the project value is more than 250,000. The personal net worth is the same as the SBE. And then the average gross receipts is 9 million for construction services and 5 million for all other services. And then there is no threshold for my commodity suppliers. Next. So how the SBE program works, and I already shared that with you, but this is just a refresher. Basically, is for all those contracts that are less than $250,000 can be reserved the complete contract 100% for my local small businesses. What do I do? How am I able to do that? Remember I mentioned we need to make sure I have enough SBEs on my directory. So if I have at least 2 SBEs on my directory that are available, willing, and able to bid on these contracts, I'm able to reserve the contract. So that's why it's really important that I have at least 2 of you. Of course, I prefer to have a lot more than 2 because I want to make sure that we have a lot of responses, right? And have an open competitive process. So what we do is we conduct a survey. You will get an email from our staff asking you, basically we provide a few details about the project, and we ask you if you are available to bid on and interested on bidding on the contract. So it's really important that when you get those surveys, you respond to those surveys as soon as you receive the information, because that allows us to reserve the contracts for you. If I don't get responses from you, I am not able to reserve the contract. And I need to say, please go ahead and go on the open market, because none of my SBEs responded that they're interested on responding, or we are willing or able to do it. So it's really important when you get those surveys. They're very short. They only have a few questions. When you get those surveys, please always respond and let us know if you will be interested. Something else that's beneficial about the survey is that we're basically giving you a heads up that there is a solicitation that's going to be coming out in a few months, right? So that's also another way for you to learn that there may be a project or a new solicitation coming out in a few months after you get the survey from us. So again, SBEs and not SBEs are able to bid on these contracts, but the preference is provided to our SBEs. So that's really, really important. Next. We want all of you to register as a county vendor today. So if you go to broward.org/purchasing, you are able to go to BPRO, which is our procurement system, and you can register as a county vendor. It's completely free to do. You start getting email notifications whenever Broward County is buying the good material or service that you provide. So it's really important that you get certified because you're going to start getting those emails. The vendor registration is for all businesses that want to do business with Broward County, all vendors, etc. So you can be anywhere. You can be in Miami, you can be in Palm Beach, you can be in different locations, you can be in another state and register as a county vendor. This is not my local certification. It's two completely different things. However, we want that you get registered as a county vendor here before you submit the county certification application. Next. Now I'm gonna let Cheryl Roberts, our certification supervisor, go over some of the details of the information you need to provide as part of your SBE and your CBE certification application. Cheryl?
Got it. I'll take it from here. Hi, everybody. I'm so glad that you're here. Like Maribel says, we really want to increase our numbers of certified firms so we can set goals and higher goals on even more projects. We have an online certification process. It is through, if you're familiar, it is through a software created by B2G Now. We're calling it our business management system. It is secure. You should use Google Chrome instead of the other web browsers. It's secure, it saves time, convenient, 24/7 access. You can start the application, and if you're not ready to complete it, you can come back and complete it. You just need to create an account and create your username and password, and then go for it. Next slide. So this is our business management system. If you go to our website, broward.org/econdev, you want to select business management system, and it will tell you everything about the system, and then there will be a link for you to apply for certification. Next slide. So here's what you'll see when you go to our website and you click on the BMS. You'll see the online application. You want to select certification programs. Again, you need to use Google Chrome as your browser. Before you start the online application, an affidavit must be signed and notarized, and you'll find that affidavit on our website. When you go to our website and get certified, you want to go to local programs, and you'll find not only the affidavit, but the certification checklist, the supporting documents checklist. You must have all the documents from the checklist, and each document must be saved separately so you can upload it separately in the correct location on the application. You need to have a B2G Now account. When you go to B2G, you want to click on apply for update certification, and then it asks you a couple of questions. And if you don't have, what you want to do first is search for your firm, because you may have encountered B2G in some other business capacity. Maybe you did business in Miami-Dade or in Palm Beach County, and they use B2G. So you want to search by your federal ID number. If you're in there, it'll pop up, your business will pop up, and then you'll follow the instructions for the rest. If you don't find your firm in there, then you want to create an account. And creating an account is pretty easy. You just want to put in your email contact email as your username, and then you want to click create password. And it's a auto-generated password. It'll send you the link for you to, and through your email, for you to click on the link to create a password. Next slide. So there are supporting documents that must accompany each application. So when we review it, we are reviewing for eligibility for both programs, the CBE and the SBE program. Not everybody will qualify for both. Some firms, some of you may be a little bit bigger than the SBE program, but most firms usually do qualify for the CBE program. So we're going to go over a little bit of the checklist here. Next slide. So you need, if you've been in business for more than 3 years, you need 3 years of the tax returns, the previous 3 years of the tax returns. So right now we'd be looking for 22, 23, and 24. I know a lot of people haven't filed 25 yet, so don't worry about 25. We won't be asking for that until later in the summer. But yeah, 22, 23, and 24. If you have not been in business that long, and you need to be in business at least 1 year. So if you've only been in business 1 year, we'll just look for the 2024 tax return. We understand that not everybody's been in business that long, so 3 years or however long you've been in business. You'll need a copy of the Broward County business tax receipt as well as the municipality. So if you're located in Fort Lauderdale, we'd be looking for the Broward County tax receipt and the Fort Lauderdale tax receipt. The Broward County is on our website, which you'll see on this slide, the county taxes. And if you want to click on business tax. And if you're on the city, you want to just Google the name of your city and put business tax receipt, and it will usually come up. Most of the cities have an online process. I know Broward County has an online process, but so do most of the cities. Some cities, some of the smaller cities may require you to submit an application in person, but I haven't seen that recently. I know since COVID, really, most of the cities had an online application process. Next slide. You also need an up-to-date detailed resume. Now, this is not a business bio or owner bio. This is actually a resume that shows, previous work. If you've run your business for 20 years, then that's the only thing you can show, that's fine. But this is an actual resume and not a bio or capability statement. You need, if you're in a commercial location, and remember, you have to be Broward located for at least a year. And it cannot be a home if you have a commercial location in somewhere else in Miami-Dade or Palm Beach County. If you have a commercial location there, you need a commercial location here. But if you're a home-based business and that's the only place you conduct your business, that's fine. We wouldn't need a lease you don't need to submit your lease or your mortgage paperwork for this section. This is only if you have a commercial location. So we need a copy of the lease, the most current lease. And finally, we need copies of contracts for the initial application. You can do 1 or 2 contracts if they're multiple pages, or if you want to submit sales invoices or service agreements, that's fine as well. We just need to see that you are doing business in the category that you say that you're applying for certification. Next slide. And Maribel talked about one-on-one assistance in person. We actually have a satellite office now for those businesses that are located in West Broward. Our satellite office is in Nova Southeastern's main library on the 5th floor. It's called the Levan Center for Innovation, and it's a really cool spot. We all enjoy being over there. You can get one-on-one assistance there. We can help you understand the kind of documents you need to upload for certification. We can help you with the new BMS system. And we're there every first and third Friday of every month. And you see the address there. It's 3100 Ray Ferraro Jr. Boulevard on the 5th floor, on Nova Southeastern's campus. We're there from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And you need to call the office to set up an appointment, because we don't want people, waiting in the hallway. When you see the center, you'll understand why, we don't want folks lined up outside that office. It's a really small office. It only fits at most like 2 or 3 people besides one of us. So you want to call and make an appointment. You want to call our office, 954-357-6400, and make an appointment. Tell them you want to make an appointment for the satellite office. And we usually make appointments in 1-hour increments. And that's it for me.
Thank you. Thank you, Cheryl. So you heard from Cheryl all the documents you need to submit to make sure that you submit a complete application. And that's really, really important because we're not able to process incomplete applications. So it takes us 30 to 45 days to process complete applications. So sometimes we may receive an application that only have half of the documents that are required, and that's going to delay the process for a few months because we're not able to start the review process and finalize it until we have received all your documents. So if you can please, make sure that you have all your documents ready before you submit the application. That's going to be really important. We have a checklist to make it easier for you to do that. And if you prefer to meet with us one-on-one, Cheryl shared exactly how to do that. You can call our main number, schedule that one-on-one appointment. Our staff will be able to meet with you, review your documents, and you can even submit the online application while you're there meeting with us. So definitely encourage you to consider that. Next slide, please. And I'm really excited to see that we have a lot of questions as part of the program. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna walk you through the business management system online certification application process. So you're going to learn step by step what you need to do to submit the application. We want you to know that this webinar is being recorded, so you will have the opportunity to go back to our OESBD YouTube channel and refer back to the webinar whenever you're working on the application. And of course, you can always call us if you have any questions. But now we're going to walk you step by step through the online certification application for the local program.
Thank you for joining the live training for the online certification application. This training is for users seeking to become certified with.
And you can turn on the volume up on your
one of our
on your devices.
Or primarily with Broward County. We will get started here now. B2G Now is a worldwide supplier management software utilized by over 400 organizations across the country, including state agencies, city, school districts, and also Broward County. Our customers use B2G Now system to track subcontractor utilization, certifications, pre-qualifications, or registrations, and more. You have joined this class or this session because you are working with Broward County or additional clients and you're seeking to learn more about navigating the system specifically for certification. In this class, we'll specifically speak on certification tracking and the application process. This training is designed for vendors seeking a new certification status with a government agency or certified agency like Broward County, who does business with B2G Now. If you are here, chances are you already are aware that you're working with Broward County, so this should be pretty easy to follow through. This is also good for those that may be new to the system but have already taken the introduction to the system session. For we will go over a lot of the basic concepts like logging into your system. We will not re-review that information again. So if you need a little help, I would certainly suggest going back, reviewing the introduction to the system class before moving on to this class. You are welcome to pause if we're utilizing this as a video, or if you're here in a standard training, I would suggest that you actually just listen through the class for the standard training and then come back later and watch the video and walk through it along if you would like to. Okay, some things might be identical and some things might be a little different, but let's go ahead and get started. Okay, these are the areas that we're going to walk through today. We're going to go through the portal page of the certifying organization and what to look for there and what buttons to look for when applying for certification. We're going to talk about how to select the application, so the welcome content, the eligibility statements, what you want to read through before moving forward. We're going to talk about what we call our decision tree, which is a series of statements that requires you to make a selection. And then we'll talk through the eligibility requirements and the document list preview. Then we'll talk about completing the application section, so adding supporting documents, mandatory versus required documents, and then electronically faxing. And then we'll go through the final steps, so how to sign or print the application. Broward County does not require payment of information, but just be mindful if you are working with the agency that utilizes B2G Now that does require payment. There is a next step for that, so we'll just gloss over it. And then lastly, we'll talk about the help and support, the video libraries, and even that training user guide that's available. In some of my standard classes, I typically get questions about how do I find additional agencies that does certifications. Broward County is exclusive to the certifications that they have, but there are also agencies in the state of Florida that have local and federal programs. So you'll want to make sure that you're applying to the appropriate one. I also get questions about bidding opportunities. How do I find that within the Broward County system? You'll want to do that Google search and find that in their appropriate areas. At this point, they won't be allowing or having those opportunities here. Certainly do not necessarily need to be certified to bid on contracts or be part of work, but it's also something good to have and work with. I also suggest, just as a quick little tidbit, attend local meet and greet events hosted by Broward County or other agencies around, just to get your name out there. So I like to put this little tidbit in there just for those that were wondering, what do I do after I get certified? Most agencies utilize the B2G Now system for the online application. Will have an option on the front of their portal that will look very similar to what you see here. You'll see a apply for certification button. In Broward County, we'll have something very similar. When you click on that, you'll be brought to a welcome page, a little page that looks like this. Typically, there's additional details at the top of the screen here. They'll provide you with information for the agency contact. So if you have questions about your certification or even just the certification, you can reach out to them. I would suggest first getting logged in and reading through, because once you get logged in, you'll also see the eligibility information about this certification record, which I'll show you in just a moment. You can either look up an account. So if you took the introduction to the class, I showed you how to go through the lookup account process, and I talked to you about what is important to remember when coming in here and looking up your account first. You can also create an account. So if you have never worked with the B2G Now system before, you can go in to create an account from here. I would certainly suggest, I'm sorry, it's not a suggestion. What's happening in the system is that once you put your information in, it will ask for your tax ID, and it'll do a quick validation to make sure you don't already have an account. So if you do have an account, it'll flag it to say you have an account, but if you don't have an account already, it'll allow you to go through without needing to create that account. If you know your username and password, so if you've worked with other agencies like maybe a Broward Public Schools, you've worked with maybe Miami-Dade County or some other agencies within the state of Florida, you may already have an account created, so you can just simply log in. Okay, so those are your options for logging into the system. Once you've logged into the system, you will be taken to what we call our welcome page, and it looks similar to what you see here. Be mindful if the certification action you are taking, you're a new applicant, seeking certification from Broward County for the first time. Be mindful of what certification that is, and take note of their qualifications. So this welcome page will give you information about this agency, and it'll also show you these buttons here where you can click on the qualifications for each one. I would certainly suggest read through that information first before starting the application. Next, we have what we call our decision tree, which is a series of statements that direct you to the correct application each time. Here is a sample of one of Broward counties of what theirs look like. You'll just start off with identifying, are you currently certified or you're not currently certified? Okay, so current certification is regardless of if you've done the certification through this system or not. If you have an active certification with Broward County, you would select currently certified. If you don't have an active one, if it's expired or lapsed or you never became certified, you may need to select your firm is not currently certified. Okay, before we get into the system, which we were about to do now, I want to give a couple of reminders. When filling out questions on the application, you need to always fill them from left to right. Okay, so this one is an example of a question on one of the new applications. Notice here, the top one, you have the name, title, date appointed, ethnicity, and gender. And so those things are captured. You'll want to make sure you fill in that information from left to right fully. If you have multiple officers, so this is asking identify your firm's officers. So if you have multiple officers, you want to list out all of those officers separately. For those that are required, they'll be notated in a red asterisk. Otherwise, you'll see a yellow box that makes them optional. So make sure you fill in that information that's optional. We're going to talk about documents. So mandatory and required documents. Mandatory documents are documents that must be uploaded. Required documents are documents applicable to your organization. So if, let's say, for example, we're going to show you an example of a potential required document that you'll want to make sure that you provide that's applicable to your organization. All right, let's go ahead and let's get logged in. So I spared you from watching me type. So I logged in to Broward County, and under key actions, I can also view that application from here as well. All right, so I can see the list of applications listed here. Okay, as mentioned earlier, you have what we call our welcome page here. I, again, highly suggest you read the requirements before moving forward. So read what they're saying are you have to have requirements for eligibility. So this one is personal net worth per owner is less than 1.32 million, and so on and so forth. Okay, so make sure that you're going through that process to read and review the information. Once you've read and reviewed the information, you now have what we call our decision tree that you will select an option from. So you'll come down here. If you're already certified and you just want to make a note to update your certification, submit your annual update, you can do that. Identify which certification you're certified under and submit your annual update where is needed. If you are not currently certified with Broward County, you'll just come in here and click the not currently certified and select the certification you're seeking certification for. So if you're seeking for CBE, small business enterprise certification, you'll want to make the selection. Are you located in Broward County or are you not? you want to be honest there so that you have that information and you're submitting the right application. If you are, then it'll take you to the application that you can choose from. Okay, because that application is a little longer, I'm going to, for my training purposes, I'm going to say I'm currently certified and I want to submit an annual update. Oh, another thing that I also want to, before we submit the application, I want to draw your attention. If you're currently certified and you want to make an update to your profile, Broward County does allow you to do that here from the decision tree. So you'll just select, I would like to make an update to my certification profile or report a material change, and then follow the decision tree requirements. So if you want to just update your business name, that's totally fine. This is or your address or fax or so. This is the easy form that you fill in. Broward County will receive it and they'll approve or ask for additional information if they need. If you need to update a commodity code, this is a whole a different process, and it'll look similar to what you'll see in just a moment as we fill in the application. But this is just asking you to provide that material information. So if you're making those changes, you can submit that one. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's click on any of the applications. So I've clicked on the application. There's some information up top here. Certainly suggest reading through that information. If you ever get stuck, there are additional manuals. So there's this need help section here and user manual where you can take or you can read through the process of applying for certification. This is a general manual that can be used for any process, or you can sign up for one of our other general classes that we do. We're going to scroll down here under company and contact information. You want to identify the business name. Now, if you're the type that have multiple businesses, please make sure that business that you want to be certified, you're logged into that account. Now, that's where it does get a little different. So you will have different accounts for different businesses, but you will only have one account for the same business. So we're using subflooring, and we just want to be certified with under subflooring. That's my only business. Your email address, your company email, and your company type. Remember, some of these things pre-populate from that profile. We talked about that during that introduction to the system class and how to keep that updated. This will pre-populate, but this is just an editable field. So if you need to make a change now to this, please do. Make that update here, and then you can go back later and update your profile. Same with your company type. You want to update your company type here, add, if you need to. This is directly correlating to your document list. We're going to see that in just a moment. So which documents you provide is related to whatever you select here. So make sure you're selecting the appropriate company type. The autofill option gives you the option to kind of save your phalanges or your fingers from typing a lot if you filled in similar applications throughout the areas or the nations you've worked with, right? So you could use your account information like your business profile. We talked about that in introduction to the system. You can use that to autofill some areas, or you could use previous applications that you've worked on to autofill some of that information, okay? And if it's available, you'll see a little bubble for selecting it. Now, I have a lot of testing, so you probably won't see your list look this large. All right, eligibility requirements. This is here just another confirmation to make sure you're in the right place. All right, so make sure you answer this information truthfully and move forward. Once you've made your selections here, you'll click on continue. From this point, you have not yet started the application, but you're in the preview of that application. And this here is what we call our document list preview. Notice here at the top is the document list preview for corporations, because I selected in the previous screen that I'm a corporation as a company type. Remember, I just said that the documents are associated. Okay, now you can scroll down here and look at the mandatory documents and the required documents. Mandatory documents are required. You have to provide those mandatory documents to this agency in order to even submit the application. Required documents are required if it's applicable to you. So if, for example, if you have copies of state or county competency professional licenses, you need to provide that. If that's applicable to you, please ensure that you're providing that information. Same goes with any of these others here. If there's additional information that you want to provide or documentation, you can also provide it here under that additional documentation not listed above. We put this document list here for you because sometimes it takes a little time for you to gather this information. And so one thing you'll notice if I scroll up a little bit, in this red box here, there's a timeline. You have 90 days to submit this application before it deletes automatically out of the system. The purpose of this submission timeline is to ensure that we keep the quality of our database and we don't have just lingering applications out there for years on years on years. So before you get ready to start the application, I would certainly suggest have your documents together, okay, so that you can just get it all completed all in one swoop. You never know what might happen between now and when you actually want to submit that application, okay? So we're good. I have my personal net worth documents, my tax returns, my Broward County tax receipts, and I also have those required documents that's applicable to me ready, and I'm ready to submit this application right now. So I'm just going to click on this checkbox, and I'm going to click continue. The other thing I want to make note before I hit continue is that these documents are different for each application type or certification type you're applying for. So this one is our renewal, our annual update, but if we were submitting for new, we might have more documents or less documents. So keep that in mind. And what you see here is not inclusive of all applications. All right, let's go ahead and click continue. Now I have started the application. All right, I want to just go over a couple things about this section. You have the information about the application listed here. You have your status, which we know is incomplete. You have the application number. Every application is assigned a number. This is just for technical reasons. This is a B2G now number that's assigned. So let's say you have a problem, you're having challenges with submitting the application and you need our tech support to help you. You simply give them the application number that you're working on and we're able to go to that application pretty quickly and help you with resolving that issue. And it'll be useful in just a moment. I'm going to show you another reason why this application is necessary. All the applications have a specific date for deletion. Please keep in mind of this date. So you need to have this application filled out and completed before it's deleted by this date. There is opportunities in some cases for you to extend it, but be careful because there are some agencies that have limits on this extension date. So make sure that you're extending only for the time frame that you're able to extend, and keep it mindful. It extends for 7 days. So if you hit that extension date, it'll extend 7 days from that date. Contact person. This is the person that actually created the record, the application. You can change the contact person, but if you do that, you will lose access to the application. If you want somebody else to have access to this application and you still maintain access, let me show you what to do. You're going to scroll up here and go to the Utilities tab. And on the Utilities tab, in the middle here, you have this option to get access to specific users. Now, remember, I told you about this application number on the first tab. This is important, especially if you're granting one of our customer support, which is any of these users here, access to your application. We're going to need to know that application number so that we can support you. Okay, so here you can also grant access to any of your users within subflooring, and then there's additional users. So maybe the agency staff, you want to grant them access to this application, you can do that here as well. All right, when you're granting someone access, you can grant them to as little as 1 hour to as much as permanently, and everything in between. You just simply select that time frame and then click on grant access. It's going to ask you to confirm, yes, and now they have access. Look here at this access list. They have access, and it tells you the access start and end date. You can't come in here and revoke their access at any point. And then it keeps the history here of that application or the access points and what's going on. All right. If for any reason you need to manually delete this application, you can by clicking on delete annual update if you need to. All right, let's go back here to the main tab, and on the main tab here, we're going to scroll down here to sections and documentation. Now, this is where the meat is happening of the application. You have, again, each application have its own number of sections, so I'm using this as the annual update so I can spare your life from having to watch me type and make errors. But each section, when they are incomplete, you'll see this red arrow, red box. It'll also say it's incomplete, and it'll keep track here of the number of questions that you've answered and completed along the way. Okay, so to fill it in, you'll just click on this fill in button here, and it'll take you to the section that you need to fill in. Some things to highlight. Required answers are identified with a red asterisk, and the box will be red. Optional is a yellow box, and that just indicates also that it hasn't been completed or filled in. And complete means that it's green. So let's take a look at, let's go ahead and fill in some areas. All right, so we're in section 1, legal name. It pre-filled for me. I didn't type that in because of that profile information. So did my FEN, my business. My county didn't pre-fill, and it's required, so I need to make sure I enter that. My phone number pre-filled, my email. This is a very specific question. Are we registered? We'll say yes here. And once we filled in all the information, we're going to click save and return. Now, you could save this as draft. So you could fill this in and say, oh, shoot, I don't remember if I am registered with BPRO. If I'm not, I can just navigate away from this and go check to see if I'm registered or register if I need to do that. So I could save it as a draft or just save and return to summary. So that's what we're going to do. And notice here, I filled in all of the areas. It's now green. I've got a green check mark, and it also says complete. So we can go through any of these sections in any order if we want to. So if we want to immediately fill in the doc list next, we can, or we could just go to section 2. So I'm just going to go to section 2 because I like to go through order. All right, again, same type of features. The section have required areas. This is a good one. So like if this one here, have there been any changes to the ownership of the company in the last 12 months? If I said yes, I must enter what changes, the changes in the box next to it. Okay, so just make sure that you're being mindful of that. Here it's asking me for my gross receipt, so make sure that we're providing the gross receipts. I just went in all types of order here. Oh my goodness. Goodness gracious. This is why you want to be spared from watching me type. All right. For the sake of typing, I'm going to enter that. Notice here, I identified the year ending. I entered the total receipts. This does require you to do it for the previous years, 3 years. So you need to make sure you're entering the gross receipts for those 3 years. Okay. All right. This is another good one. Remember earlier, before we got into the system, I told you that you want to fill out the questions from left to right. All right, so this one is asking list all licenses held. So I do have licenses as my example, and we're going to make sure that we fill in from left to right. Okay, so who is the holder? Okay, type of license. What is the expiration date? say 20. There we go. What is the license number? And then the state of the license. Okay? So very simple. If I have more licenses, I can just go ahead and add that license. Remember, left to right. If I run out of space, there's this link here where you can save the page and add more licenses to this line. Okay? So make sure that you're filling it all from left to right. Don't go down to the next line unless you have another license or something else to report. All right? You see here under this question, it's very similar. All right? All right, we're going to just go ahead and click nones, no's, and we're going to click save and return. There are chances and opportunities that when you save it and you come back here, this is red. Just go back and look at the questions, because let me hit this edit again. Notice here, everything is green. So if something is missing, it'll show in red that is missing, and it's easy for you to respond to. All right, cancel that. Last thing here is the document list here on that screen. Now, the document list allows you to attach documents. There are two options of attaching. You can attach it through the upload from your computer, or you can fax it in. You don't have to have a different fax number. Actually, the fax number is located on the screen, the cover page itself. I'm not going to go through the details of that because it is really self-explanatory. Most people, though, utilize the attaching feature. So we're going to go ahead and click on attach. You can attach over up to 100 megabytes. Anything over that will be rejected. You can attach as many files as you need to. So I'm going to click here and browse my computer. And let's use that one. Give it a brief description. Okay. All right. I promise I won't do any more typing. So you can browse, you can drag files as well here into this drag and drop feature. And so I'm just going to go ahead and click upload. Again, if I had another one, I can click on attach. Let's see, use that one as our example, and we can upload. So upload as much as you need to, and then you can view that file or download that file just to make sure you're attaching the right one. Notice here, so in this example, you have a downloadable file that you need to download first to fill in. So it looks like they want you to download it, fill in the details, and then upload that file here. Okay, so just be mindful of that. All right, I have a couple more that I need to attach. Okay, so I've got all of my files attached. Now listen, y'all saw me attach these files, and these don't look like the files they're requesting. I'm going to say to you, don't just attach anything to submit the application. Please make sure you're attaching the actual corporate federal forms. Whatever they're asking here, make sure you're attaching that, because you risk your application not being processed or being returned to you, and that could delay the process and delay your certification and could have an adverse effect. So make sure you're attaching the right documents here. All right, so I've attached all of the mandatory documents. So remember, mandatory documents are required for everyone. Let's scroll down. Are there any required documents I need to attach? Now remember, in my application, I did say that I had a professional license. And so if I said that in my application, I definitely need to make sure that I'm attaching that a professional license information here in the application. All right, otherwise, if the rest of this does not apply to me, I'll just check mark this box here. So select the check mark and then click on lock in. And it's going to ask you to confirm, yes. And it's locked in. Okay, so I've noted this is not applicable to me. All righty. All right. I've completed. Let's go back to the main page here. I've completed all 3 sections. And you'll probably notice that this top bar here have now turned yellow, orange type of color. And it also is giving me an indicator that I need to now sign the application. So if I'm happy, good to go for it, my status is update, let's go ahead and sign the application. I can click this link, or I could go up here to this tab and click on signature. Either way, it'll take me to the sign section. You'll want to read through that and add your signature. Okay. Or it's Lucy. That's my name. Okay. So you'll want to add that information and then validate and sign. All right. From here, we have not submitted the application. Once the application is submitted, it cannot be withdrawn or taken back, but you do have an option here. If you want to view the application again, make an edit. Maybe you forgot to add a document. You can edit that here as well. And if you're utilizing this system for other agencies, if you need to pay, this is where it all happened. But for them, for Broward County, no payment or anything is necessary. You're just going to go straight to submitting your annual application or whatever application it is. All right, so you'll check on this box to confirm and certify and acknowledge. And then you'll click submit. Let's do it. It's saying, are you sure? Because again, once you submit it, you can't take it back. I'm sure. Let's click OK. And it has now been submitted. It is ready. You have the application information. I often get this question in some of my general classes. When can I expect a final determination? Or what do I expect next? This is what the agency is sharing here. It's within 90 days, they'll provide you with information. They may ask for additional documentation. So I certainly suggest reading this screen. You can print this application for your records. Take note of that app number. So if you have questions about the application process and the application, you can reach out to the agency and say, hey, this is my application number. You know, what is the status or whatever on that? Okay, let's go here. I'm going to go here to the cert list, I think. Hold on. Let me see here. Oh, okay. You guys, they do have the supplemental. Let's say you forgot to add something. You can click on submit supplemental information. This is a one-directional document. You can say, hey, I forgot to add this document or add this context. You can type in that information here. Attach, you can say I'm not attaching, or I am attaching, or I'm submitting it by fax, or I'm dropping it off. You can click next to review, and then you're all good to go there. So that's one thing that you can use that's one directional directly to the agency. We're going to go back here to our cert list. And you'll remember in the introduction to the system, we briefly went over this page. So you have all of your applications listed here. And notice this application is submitted and pending receipt. Okay, so there are different processes that can happen. Once the agency have received your application, you'll see this, received and in process. All right, once they've completed, whether they've approved it, they've denied it, you've withdrawn, you will see the process complete once the final decision is made. Okay, so that's what you're looking for when it comes to viewing your application and your status. For any applications that's approved, you can view that information here under current certifications. Okay, we've talked a lot about going to support. In a lot of these pages, you have this help and tools here at the top. I was down here at the bottom. At the bottom, you have customer support that's available as well. And you also have help and support. You can take additional training classes, watch this video again, and watch other videos like it if you would like to get more information. Now, in this session, we talked about a lot. We talked about how to get started, where to go for the portal page, how to apply for certification. We talked about that welcome page. And remember that before you start the application, certainly suggest reading those eligibility statements and understanding the eligibility process. Then we talked about the decision tree. What do you need to do to apply, which application you're going to select, and reviewing and previewing that document list and how that's the beginning of the process of submitting the application. Then we went through completing the application sections. So how to add the supporting documents, how to add the questions, reading them from adding information from left to right where required in those tables. And we talked about the electronic uploading or even faxing your documents. And then we went through those final steps. I glossed over, like I said, if there was any payment information. There's not a requirement for Broward County, but if you're working with other agencies, it's applicable. And then you how to sign, review, print, and lastly, we talked about some additional help and support tools. Thank you again for joining.
And that was an overview of our certification application. This is our new business management system. And basically, we took you step by step on what is it that you need to do, what is the information you need to submit, the questions, the documents, how to upload the documents, etc. However, remember, our office is here to provide any assistance you may need as part of that process. You can schedule a one-on-one appointment with our team so they can review those documents before you submit the application. Now we're going to share some additional information. We're going to share upcoming projects that are going to be advertised over the next few months, etc. So in addition to getting you certified, our office works to make sure that you understand the county's procurement process and that you're successful when you're submitting those bids, that you review the information, that you submit a complete quote response or an RFP response, etc. It's really important for us that you're successful, not only getting certified, because getting certified is just the first step, but that you understand the process to submit the bids and understand the requirements the county has. And in order to do that, we have a lot of workshops that we put together. We share a lot of information with you on a weekly basis. Our Business Assistance Weekly is the first image you can see here. It is issued every Wednesday night with really good information about upcoming events, solicitations that are coming up. We also share with you workshops, business development workshops. We share with you grant opportunities. Broward County is going to have a micro grant coming out at the end of April. So we're going to have a series of workshops, and all that information, you'll be able to see it on our Business Assistance Weekly newsletter. A lot of really good information that you can review. And again, this is just an email that you will receive every Wednesday night. If you don't receive the Business Assistance Weekly yet, we encourage you to sign up to receive the information. Our website and our social media, we're very active on social media. We share a lot of information, so please follow us at Broward County OESBD. It's our social media handle and information. Please follow us on social media because we also share a lot of information through our social media and our website. The new business management system, you learned about that today. We're really thrilled to have this new system, and a lot of the payment verifications that are going to happen once you win a county contract. The primes need to report on a monthly basis the payments that they're issuing to you as a small business, and that's verified every month. The BMS is interfaces with the financial system, and you need to verify that you receive the payments as reported by the primes. So you'll be, again, once you win a county contract, you'll be learning more about the BMS system and learning about other modules of the system, and all the training sessions for all the BMS which is our business management system, are on our YouTube channel, so you can access them on demand. We're going to be scheduling some listening sessions in the spring and the summer. We really want to hear from you. We want to hear from our business community. We want to hear from our entrepreneurs. We want to hear from our primes. How are you doing? How can we improve processes, programming, services, conferences, so we can then tweak our programming to meet your needs. So stay tuned for more information on our listening sessions that are coming up. Something else that's going to be new this year is we're going to be doing robocalls and text messages. Of course, we want you to sign up for those. And when you can receive email notifications from us, you can receive text messages, you can receive robocalls. If you want us to remind you of an upcoming workshop that maybe you sign up for and you prefer to receive a call, we can do that. Or if you prefer to receive a text message, I know those are sometimes helpful. Industry-specific training. We've been listening to all of you. We've been listening to our primes. We've been listening to our county agencies. We've been listening to our certified businesses. So we're going to be doing industry-specific training this year. We're going to be starting with our security companies. We have a workshop coming up. I'm going to share with you the date in a little bit. And then we're going to follow with janitorial companies. And later in the year, we're going to be doing construction companies. So again, our industry-specific training is for specific industries where we go over, you have a contract, now what, right? So you have a contract, now what is basically, when you have a contract, we work with the agencies, with purchasing and the different agencies to go over the requirements of those contracts, the reporting requirements that you need to meet associated with the contract, everything associated with, again, if you're a security company, everything associated with the credentials, training of your employees, etc., reporting, bookkeeping, all of those things. So again, we want to make sure that you're successful as part of government contracting. There's a lot of requirements on many of the contracts, and we want to make sure you understand those. So that's what our industry-specific training is all about. And again, as the director of the office, I want you to know I'm here to help you and to support you. So call me, email me, let me know what additional suggestions you have based on your experience working on county contracts or getting certified, etc. Next. What additional resources and services we have for you? We work with our county agencies to make sure we understand what are the solicitations that are coming out, because we want to promote them so you can get ready to bid on those solicitations, right? So we try to do that early on as much as possible. We have a workshop every year in October where we share with you contracting opportunities that are going to be coming up as soon as the budget gets approved. We have our contracting opportunities workshop in October. In addition to that, we schedule meet and greets. When we have larger construction projects, we work with the agencies to schedule meet and greets to make sure that you understand what is the scope of that project and you can start building your team. If it's a larger project, to make sure that you meet the larger companies that are going to be bidding that are required to use you as a local certified small businesses. We also do meet and greets after the projects have been awarded, when we have larger projects like our convention center and Omni Hotel. We've done really a lot of meet and greets to make sure that every step of the way, for every phase, you know if your services or products are required as part of those specific phases, and to make sure that our prime is able to hire you as a certified small businesses. We have a speakers bureau. We do a lot of targeted outreach to recruit additional companies to be part of our certified directory. Next. In addition to that, we have a series of workshops. So we have today's workshop is Get Certified. But then after you do this workshop, I want you to get certified. And as soon as you get certified, we want you to sign up for your Certified Now What? And that's coming up in a few weeks. It's going to be recorded as well, and it's going to be on our YouTube channel. So you'll have the opportunity to access that webinar at any time. But your Certified Now What basically walks you through the process of, now that you're certified, what is it that you need to understand to make sure that you're successful when you're bidding on contracts or when you're participating as a subcontractor on a larger contract. That's really important. And we share with you some helpful information related to how to use the vendor management system, BPRO, so you can monitor those solicitations, so you can see who's bidding on those solicitations, so you can connect with those larger companies that are required to use you, because the system has their name, their phone number, their emails, and there's opportunities for you to understand the system and that process, so you can start building those connections and relationships. We have the You Have a Contract Now What? That is the one that is specific to the different industries I mentioned. And we change the industries every year. This year, we're going to be doing security companies, janitorial companies, and construction. But every year, we are changing the different industries. So again, we want to hear from you. Let us know if you have suggestions on additional industries that we should consider for our programming on You'll Have a Contract Now What? We do workshops on how to do business with Broward County. We also do the contracting opportunities for all our contracts. We do contracting opportunities with individual agencies, like with the airport and the port. We do contracting opportunities with our mobility advancement program and more. We do the reverse trade show. That's going to be coming up as well. We're going to share with you the date at the end of this presentation. And this workshop is great because you get to meet with the people responsible for doing the purchases at the different agencies. You can meet with them one-on-one. They do a brief presentation on the different products and services that they buy regularly. So it's a great event for you to attend. And again, we have one coming up very soon. So I want you to stay until the end of the presentation because we're going to share with you the date for our reverse trade show. We have the Broward and Beyond Business Conference. This is a full day conference for our business community. We receive almost 1,000 businesses of all sizes, federal government, state government, local government, and many of our agencies and government institutions, hospitals, Broward schools, and more that come to share with you. What are they buying? What are the opportunities to do contracting with them as well? And you also have access to a lot of other resources. So definitely encourage you to sign up for our Broward and Beyond Business Conference. Registration opened yesterday. So you are right on time to sign up to register. And if you're interested in being a sponsor, sponsorship opportunities are also on our website. We do our international conference annually, our International Trade and Cultural Expo. That's in over November every year. We do 11 steps to exporting. When you're ready to start exporting your goods, materials, or services to other parts of the world, our office is here to also provide that training that you need to understand that market and be successful exporting your goods, materials, and services. April, May, beginning of hurricane season, we do a business resiliency workshop where we work with you to provide training on what is it that you need to do before to prepare for a natural disaster, during, and after. So some excellent programming for you as well. We're going to be working with the purchasing division to doing business with Broward County. And that's going to be a series of workshops that's basically going to go over the details of the bidding process. When you're submitting a bid, this is what you need to look at. This is what the bid looks like. These are the requirements. This is how you respond. When you're submitting an RFP, this is how the RFPs are structured. These are the questions you may need to answer. These are the insurance requirements, etc. So this doing business with Broward County is an excellent workshop. We're going to do it virtual because we want to record it to make sure that you have access to it at any time. But it's going to be a series of workshops walking you through that process because we have different mechanisms to purchase goods, materials, and services, depending on the dollar amount, depending on the services and materials that we need. Remember, we mentioned we do contracting opportunities workshops as well at the in the fall, in October every year. And we do that also with our film industry. So our film commission is very active, making sure that we share with our community opportunities to do business with the film productions that are coming to Broward County. So stay tuned for more information on those workshops. Follow Film Lauderdale on their social media and visit their website because we want to make sure that you're also receiving the latest information on how you can work with the film industry as they're coming to Broward County. Listening to your business. We have a series of workshops as well as part of our entrepreneurship program. And we have a small business microgrant that is going to open at the end of April. So we're going to share with you in a little bit the dates of the workshops because we want you to understand the eligibility requirements. We're going to meet with you one-on-one to do the application intake, so you can submit a successful application. Next. And remember, we talked about Film Lauderdale. So here you can see their phone number, you can see their email. We encourage you, if you have any questions about Film Lauderdale, our film commission, they're basically a full service concierge film commission. They provide services to producers from beginning to end. From when they're starting to look for locations, we have a directory. When they're ready to do the permitting aspect, we are the ones that do the permitting. In addition to that, if they need assistance through that process, through the permitting process, we provide assistance. When they're doing the actual filming and production, we go also to the site and provide assistance and support. And we provide economic development incentives. So if they meet our economic development incentives eligibility requirements, we're able to provide funding to the film productions. If they're hiring local small businesses, if they're hiring local crew from Broward County, and if they meet other specific requirements, they can receive money back on their production. Next. And the Mobility Advancement Program, I spoke about it earlier as part of the training, but basically we still have 24 more years of funding as part of the Mobility Advancement Program. So a lot of opportunities for you to do business with Broward County. And remember, this is not only construction, transportation related. Some of these projects may need marketing companies. They may need accountants. They may need different professional services. So be aware that in addition to, of course, construction companies, there may be other type of companies that are needed as well, certified companies, to comply with the requirements of the at least 30%. Next. And remember, I told you I was going to share what's coming. We're talking about billions and billions of dollars in opportunities in Broward County. We have our Broward County Transit Premium Mobility Plan. We're talking about $4 billion, a series of projects that includes bus rapid transit, light rail transit, high frequency bus transit, and a lot more. Here you can see the website for our Primo program. And a lot of these projects will have small business participation requirements. So want to make sure that you start learning about it early on. Next. We recently had the Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport Industry Day. It was an excellent event where we had the opportunity to do matchmaking with, the larger companies that are going to be bidding on these large projects with our small certified businesses that need to be used for these contracts, right? So here you can see just a few of those projects. The presentation is on their website. So this link here, if you go to this link, you're able to go to all the presentations that were provided that day that have the list of all the contracts that are coming up, over 25 contracts that are coming up in the next months for this project. So we're talking about Terminal 5, that's $699 million, the project. Terminal connectors, that's $280 million. The automated people mover, that's going to be over $1 billion. The intermodal center, you can see an image here of that, is over $1.4 billion and a lot more. So we have, again, a lot of opportunities coming up over the next few years at the airport as part of our transportation department, at the port, and other county facilities. Next. And we want to share with you success stories. These are just a few of the success stories of contracts that the primes not only met the goal, but they exceeded the goal. Here you can see for this one is basically South Runway, a terminal replacement project at the airport. The goal for the project, again, DBEs were utilized under the federal program, 25.4%. They exceeded the commitment as part of that project. This other one, basically replacement of storage tanks. This was 100% done by one of our local certified small businesses. Next. And here are more success stories. And we like to share these stories. So if you participated in a contract, if you win, you get certified and you participate in a contract, please share your success stories with us because we want to share them with our customers. This is another one, mooring fields installation that was done, also exceeded the goal of the project. The goal, as you can see here, was only 10%, and they were able to exceed that and obtain 53% participation of our small businesses. And here you can see the commitment of our local primes, right? Sometimes I have certified businesses that bid as primes, and then they hire other companies to do maybe the scopes that they are not responsible, that they're not responsible for, right? That they're not able to do. So those are some great opportunities for you to establish the joint ventures, right? And here you can see another maintenance and repairs. 100% of the project was done by one of our local certified small businesses, and we're talking about millions of dollars in contracting opportunities. Next. And we want you to stay connected with the Office of Economic Small Business Development. If you scan this QR code, you're going to have access to a lot of different resources. You're going to have access to our events page. You're going to have access to our microgrant information. You're going to have access to our programs related to entrepreneurship and a lot more. So definitely encourage you to scan this QR code. You can also subscribe to our Business Assistance Weekly newsletter. Definitely encourage you to do that if you don't receive the newsletter yet. Next. And upcoming events. As soon as you get certified, we want you to sign up for this other workshop, which is called You're Certified Now What? And this one is really important because remember, certification is just the beginning, right? We want to make sure that as soon as you get certified, you understand the procurement process. You understand the steps you need to follow to submit a bid. You understand the steps you need to follow to maybe participate as a subcontractor on these larger projects. So You're Certified Now What is the webinar for you. We have it coming up March 11th at 3:30. It's going to be recorded and it's going to be posted on our YouTube channel. So if you're not able to join us for March 13th, you can always go back to our YouTube channel to watch the recording basically on demand. But this is a really helpful workshop for our certified small businesses. We also have our half-day workshops. And for you, since you're an established business, will be the listening to your business. And in this workshop, we basically want you to look at where you are right now in your business, right? And where do you want to go in the next 3 to 5 years? We help you develop that 3-year business strategy to get you there. The Intentional Entrepreneur is for startups. And basically what we do as part of this workshop is for entrepreneurs to basically assess what their 1-year vision is to start their business, right? We work with you during this workshop to make sure that you map out what that strategy is going to be. And then we want to invite, of course, our entrepreneurship community. We have our Kaufman New Venture Information Session on April 8th. And this is the session where we tell you about our 10-week Kaufman program, where we help you develop business plans. And then at the end, you can win cash prizes, similar to a Shark Tank. We have a pitch competition. You can win cash prizes towards your business, $10,000, $7,500, and $5,000. And you also win the opportunity to have a membership, 1-year membership at the Alan B. Levan Center for Innovation at Nova Southeastern University. So again, if you want more information, we'll be glad to connect with you and share more information about these programs. But if you want to sign up, we have a few sessions coming up in March and in April. Next. And we have a lot of workshops coming up, right? So we have a general contractors workshop coming up as well. We did a session last year and we heard from you. We heard from our community that we should do a meet and greet between GCs and the trades. So that's what we're doing on March 13th. We hope you can join us if you are a general contractor or you're in as part of the trades, because we're going to do a matchmaking event, meet and greet, where the GCs are going to get to meet all the different trades that they need to hire when they're bidding on contracts, right? So great event. Hope to see you there. We have the small business microgrant workshops. They start on March 20th. The March 20th one is going to be a webinar. Encourage you to sign up. Of course, it's going to be recorded and it will be on our YouTube channel. And then we're going to have some in-person workshops also about the microgrant. So we'll have 4 total. So you'll have the opportunity to participate either in person or virtually. And the microgrants are $5,000. We are paying you, we're reimbursing you $5,000 in operational expenses. So it's an excellent program that our Broward County Board of County Commissioners have approved. And this is the 3rd year where we are able to implement the microgrant program. And we really hope that you have the opportunity to submit your application and receive funding. We also have a conversation series coming up. We're going to be at the Alan Bill Event Center for Innovation on March 24th. We're going to have a conversation in celebration of Women History Month with all our commissioners, Commissioner Rich, Commissioner Davis, and Commissioner Rogers. And our county administrator, Monica Cepera, is going to be moderating the panel. So if you would like to join us, it's completely free. We're going to have breakfast, and then we're going to be joining the conversation where our commissioners are going to share some really valuable insights about their public service, their journey of public service, and their commitment to supporting our community, and basically all of their priority areas and their priority issues and policies that they have implemented over time. In addition to that, we want to invite you to our film forum. It's going to be March 28th. This is very specific and targeted to our film productions and film crew industries. So hope to see you March 28th. You have a contract now what for security companies on March 31st. We have the reverse trade show, remember? That's a great opportunity for you to come. And even if you're not certified yet, we encourage you to come to our reverse trade show workshop. It's going to be April 10th in person. We have OSBD listening tours. Remember, I told you we were going to do doing listening tours with all the different industries. This one is for our entrepreneurs, right? So startups and entrepreneurs, also entrepreneurs, service providers, if you provide services to entrepreneurs. We want to hear from you. We want to hear how are we doing on our Broward entrepreneurship ecosystem? What are the gaps? What are the things that can be improved so we can inform our policies and our programs and our programming moving forward? And last is our Broward and Beyond Business Conference. Remember, you can register today, completely free. Is on June 12th at the Broward County Convention Center. Next. And I'm going to briefly tell you about our federal certification. This is not going to be training about the federal certification, but just a really important update. On October 3rd of last year, the federal government made changes to our federal program. So it's no longer a minority and women-owned business. It's now a race and gender neutral program. And that's for the DBE. Here you can see it, Disadvantaged Business Enterprise and Airport Concessions. And this is the program under the U.S. Department of Transportation. So a lot of times these projects are more at the airport, transportation department, projects that are funded with US DOT dollars that have these requirements for small business participation under these 2 programs. Next. So basically, the rule changed last year. These are the eligibility requirements for the program. I'm not going to go over all of them in detail, but we can go to the next slide because I just wanted to share with you briefly the interim final rule that was adopted October 3rd of last year, basically mandated the DBEs and ACDBEs within the UCP, which is the Unified Certification Program directories, be reevaluated for recertification under these new standards, right? That is no longer race and gender specific. Broward County is one of the certifying entities in the state of Florida. So we're going to be certifying and reevaluating all the DBEs and ACDBEs over the next months. We already started that process. So definitely we'll continue the process, but we are one of the 8 other certifying entities in the state. So we're all working together to reevaluate our federally certified businesses. And as soon as that's completed, then we're able to resume the program. Of course, we submit that to the government, and then we're able to resume the program of start assigning goals for projects, etc. Next. So at this time, and again, this is very time specific. At this time, as of March of 2026, the program has been temporarily suspended. We're not able to assign goals until the UCP, which is the certifying entity, that means all of us in the state, are able to complete our reevaluation process. Also, the compliance aspect of goals, small business participation goals enforcement has been suspended as well. We're not able to monitor that at this time. And we have removed the collection of race and gender data as part of the reporting process. So the bidders list and all these active participants lists that were requirements as part of the procurement process and the reporting process, we're not able to request that information anymore. Next. However, we want to share with you that we did a training, and you can go to our OESBD YouTube channel to access the training if you're interested in learning more about the certification, the reevaluation process. We did a training with a nationally recognized subject matter expert on our federal program, Denise Bailey, related to how you write your personal narrative and how you submit your information for that reevaluation. So definitely encourage you to go to our YouTube channel for more information related to our reevaluation process. New applications are not being accepted at this time. The federal government is right now updating the certification application to make sure it complies with these new requirements. So as soon as that is updated, we will resume the process to review new certification applications under the federal program. Next. And now is the opportunity for us to answer all the questions you have. I know you have been very active on our Q&A portion of the webinar. So I want to thank all of you for being here. I want to thank you for sharing information about your companies and your interest in getting certified with Broward County. And now we're just going to take the questions and provide some answers for all of you. So the first question is from Chris. Chris basically wants to know, we need to go back to the slide that says Q&A, please, thank you. So Chris wants to know, can you please let us know if Broward County certification application is basically if we have a reciprocity agreement with other jurisdictions? That's an excellent question, Chris. We get that question a lot. And I'm glad you asked that because I should have mentioned that as part of my presentation. As part of this Broward County certification under the SBE and CBE program, our certification is also accepted by Broward County Public Schools. Basically, they accept it and they just ask a few additional questions and then they add you to their directory. It is also accepted by Broward Health and by Broward College. So to answer your question, yes, there are other jurisdictions and other government entities and hospitals that accept our certification. So thank you for that question, Chris. And then let me see the next question. Can you discuss how we can maximize our CB certification in conjunction with purchases agreements with the county and how we can present these agreements to the decision makers before it's too late or before they become an RFP? Very good question, Chris. This is basically what I would suggest is Broward County established a vendor management program section last year. And what we will do, and you can contact us, Chris, and we will definitely connect you with the person responsible for the vendor management program in the county. His name is Kirk. So we will be glad to connect you with Kirk because he will be able to review the information that you have and answer any questions related to purchasing agreements and what that process would be to basically move forward, share the information, participate as part of the county's procurement process, etc. Let's see the next question. We have some very active audience today. Why such a small number of licensed professional businesses? And thank you for that question. I think you're referring to the slide I shared where it was the pie chart that we were sharing how many businesses were winning contracts on the different industries. And for professional services, it was 2%. So one of the reasons for that is because this was contracts where licensed professional services, certified licensed professional services served as the prime, right? Because it's basically awarded contracts. So a lot of times my licensed professional businesses participate as subcontractors to the larger primes on these very large projects, right? So for that reason, that 2% is only reflecting my licensed professional businesses that want a contract as a prime and not necessarily as a sub. But we do have participation by licensed professional businesses as part of subs in many, many contracts. And of course, that information was not reported as part of that scorecard that you saw. But that's a really good question. Thank you for that. I have another question here from Ms. Diaz. It says, I am already certified with Miami-Dade County. Do I need to get certified in Broward County as well? So my program is similar to Miami-Dade County. Miami-Dade certified businesses that are in Miami-Dade, and they have that preference program for Miami-Dade businesses. And we do the same here in Broward. So you have to be in Broward, operating in Broward for at least 1 year before you can submit your certification application under my local program. So again, to answer your question, Ms. Diaz, you have to have a continuous operating presence here in Broward for at least a year before you can submit your application. However, you can become a county vendor. If you don't have a location in Broward, you can still become a county vendor. That's the BPRO system I shared earlier, and start doing business with Broward County. It's just that for the certification, you have to be a local Broward business and be operating here for at least a year. We do have companies that have multiple offices. They may have an office in Miami-Dade, and they may have a branch office in Broward as well. And then if you're operating in Broward, you have an office in Broward for at least 1 year, you're definitely able to consider the eligibility and submit the application for Broward County. Next, Ms. Diaz is also sharing other certifications that she has. Thank you for sharing that information. I have here, I am certified already with Broward County Public Schools. Do I need to do the process with Broward County? Yes, you do. So you have to submit an application through our business management system to be certified with us. We do not, there's no reciprocity the other way around from Broward County Public School to us. However, since you're already certified with them, pretty much the same information you submitted to them, you'll be submitting to us with a few exceptions. So definitely encourage you to submit your certification application with Broward County. And then I have another question here from Chris. Are there jurisdictions outside of Broward County that accept Broward County CBE, such as the Greater Orlando Aviation Authority in Orange County, etc.? That's another really good question. I know that the South Florida Water Management District, they come to our Broward and Beyond Business Conference, and they accept our certification. And as you know, they are multi-county. They're a regional water management organization. In addition to that, for the federal program, right, the DVE and ACDVE, once we resume that reevaluation, those firms and that certification is nationwide, right? So that's the benefit of the federal certification. But my local certification, I'm aware of the Water Management District accepting our certification. Let's see the next one. We have, I believe they call it UCP. That's right. That's correct, Chris. Thank you. How often is SBE a prime on a large dollar projects? Can you give examples? So we share with you today SBEs. Remember, my SBEs are for the projects that are $250,000 or less, right? So I shared as part of my scorecard that approximately 50 of them were awarded last year, where we reserved the complete contract for my SBEs. So again, I think what Mr. Allen is asking is SBEs participating on those larger contracts. So those will be CBEs really that participate on those larger contracts. However, again, any company can bid on their contracts as well. It's a very interesting question, Mr. Allen, because again, we will have to see, and that data is available. The purchasing division has a purchasing dashboard. So if you go to the purchasing division website, you will be, which is broward.org/purchasing. You'll be able to see the purchasing division dashboard, which is they went live last year, and it's an excellent dashboard where you can see all the contracts that have been awarded. You can see the companies, you can see the dollar amounts. So Mr. Allen, definitely encourage you to check out the purchasing division dashboard, because they have a lot of really good information related to awarded contracts. And I'm going to ask my team if maybe we have additional questions on the chat. I looked at the Q&A and I don't see any additional questions. Do we have any additional questions on the chat? And I think everybody did a great job copying. If they originally had questions on the chat, they copied them and placed them on the Q&A. So thank you for that. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. I hope you found this webinar helpful. And again, we want you to know this is just the beginning of what we hope is a partnership with your company and Broward County and our office. We want to make sure that you are successful submitting your certification application. And we have a lot of some great programming for you right after that. So here's our contact information. Please feel free to call us and let us know if you need further assistance. You can also schedule a one-on-one technical assistance meeting with me. Here is our main number. You can call our 954-357-6400 and request a one-on-one technical assistance meeting with me. We will meet, talk about your business, about where you are, and find opportunities for you to grow beyond Broward County. We want you to be successful, not only doing business with Broward County government, but beyond Broward County government with other entities, with other organizations as well. So again, thank you for joining us today. And we hope to see you on one of our future workshops. Have a great afternoon.